Hi Tarun, how are you?
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm good too, thank you. So Tarun, can you tell us something about yourself?
My name is Tarun. I am from Gwalior, currently living Pune. I completed my graduation in BCA from UPS, the Dehradun. Pass out year is 21, and I completed my master's in MCA from Gwalior. Uh, Pass out year is 24, and I completed my SDET certification course from Seed Infotech Pune in manual and automation both. And currently I'm looking for a job.
Okay. So can you tell me the difference between test scenario and a test case?
Basically, in test scenario, we cover the high level functionality. In test cases, we cover the low level functionality.
Hmm.
Test scenario is a group of test cases.
Hmm.
In test
Okay.
cases, we are
Yeah, please go ahead.
in test cases we are cover the low level functionality. Uh,
Low level means?
uh, in depth.
Hmm. So test cases are a detailed approach, you would say.
Yes, sir. Test cases are a detailed approach of any functionality.
Yes. Test cases are detailed approach, and the test scenario is a high level approach. Test scenarios will be writing one-liner documents,
Yes.
one-liner scenarios to be tested, and test cases are written at a detail level. You have expected result, actual result, test data. A lot of things you have in the test case. You have this uh, prerequisite test case steps. So all those things you would be having.
Yes.
Um, okay. So let's say if you got a defect while testing the application, what steps you will take?
If I get a defect,
Hmm.
so first I uh, report a defect and talk to uh, my test lead.
Hmm.
If they if the test lead approve my defect,
Hmm.
and defect goes to development team. So if the development team fix the defect, we perform retesting, and then we followed by regression testing.
Sorry, your voice is very low. Can you increase the volume of your system?
Hello, sir. I am audible now.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. So this is fine. Can you come a bit closer? Yeah. Okay. So what were you telling? Like,
When we find defect,
mm-hmm.
we report that defect, and uh, then we talk with our test lead. And if the defect is valid defect,
Mm-hmm.
it goes to development team. Then development team is working on the defect and fix that defect. Then we perform retesting.
Mm-hmm.
After retesting, we will close the defect and we perform regression testing.
Okay. Fine. So let's say whenever you get a defect, you'll log a defect, right? So which are the different steps that you will take in creating the defect?
So we can check the severity priority of the defect.
You will
Yes,
check all, so you will create the defect, right? You'll create the defect and you yourself will create the defect with a severity,
yes, sir.
all right? Apart from that, which are the different steps that you will take to log the defect?
We will check the if the defect is duplicate defect or not.
Hmm.
We will check the mm, deferred defect. Is the defect is deferred or not?
Okay. Then
Uh,
what
we will
else?
we will check the if the defect is actual defect or not.
Hmm.
We can match with our requirement SRS documentation. Uh, if it is defect, we can log this defect.
Hmm. Then so you will also attach the document, or you can say the evidence, right?
Yes, sir. We will attach.
To
I will attach the evidence. Take a screenshot of that defect,
hmm.
and
So
yes,
you can take a screenshot, you can make a video of that defect, and you will write the steps to reproduce. in which environment is it happening, and is it happening every time, or is it an intermittent defect? Is that defect a regression defect or not? So those particular things you will identify, and you'll make sure that you are keeping them in your defect details or in your defect report. Okay. Now let's say you have created this defect, but the development team is telling that it's not a defect. Then what will you do?
Uh, Sir, I will first take the screenshot of that defect as evidence, and
So
I will
that
tell
screenshot is attached, right? That screenshot
yes,
is already attached. Hmm.
I will tell the development team that this is a requirement, and there are some difference in requirement, and there are some uh, variance in expected and actual result.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is any variance in expected and actual result, so this is a defect.
Hmm.
And I also saw that defect in the developer side also, so it will be more clear.
See, whenever you log a defect, but that defect is not been identified as a valid defect, then there are two things that you need to do. So you need to do the discussion with the development team and digging the requirements or the functional specifications documents with them. And you need to collaborate with them that this is a valid defect. What are the different points that you feel that this is a valid defect, right? That is one of the thing. Still, if they are not getting convinced, then you'll take assistance from your test lead or from your test managers, and you'll get them involved. You'll have a working session with the development team or the developer who is involved in that particular user story which you were testing, and you will tell them the scenarios and the steps for the same, right? So that's how you will be taking the approach when the developer says that it's not a valid defect. Okay, now let's say you have tested one of the functionality end to end. You have tested in multiple environments, staging, QA environment like that. Now, that particular functionality is not working in the production environment. Then what will you do?
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry?
Can you repeat question?
Yeah. So let's say you have created, or yeah, let's say you are testing one of the user story, okay, or one of the functionality, and you tested it in various environments like staging environment, then QA environment. So it is working fine, but the same functionality is not working in the production environment. Then what will you do in that case?
So we perform user accessibility user accessibility testing. Uh,
Accessibility testing.
user accessibility testing.
Okay. But why do you need accessibility testing here? So you will be performing end-to-end testing of one of the user story, right? You have tested all the functionality in that. It is working fine. But when it has been deployed into the production, it's not working. Then what will you do in that case?
So before going to production,
Hmm.
we will check the application on client environment also.
Hmm.
We can do uh, beta testing also.
Sorry.
We will do beta testing before going to production.
So fine. So whatever testing you have done, that was working fine. That particular XYZ functionality is working fine. Now it has been deployed into the production. Now it is not working. The client is reporting the defect in that functionality which you have tested, right? Then what will you do in this situation?
So this is happening because of I can't recall.
Right. So let's say when there is a defect in the production, right? So you will validate the scenario that has been reported by the client. Is that a part of your acceptance criteria? Was it a part of that requirement itself, or that is altogether a new thing that the client is looking for? So you will identify the root cause. You'll do root cause analysis. What kind of issue it is? What is the severity? What is the priority? Is it happening every time? First of all, you'll identify whether it's an issue or not, if it's happening every time or not, or if it is an intermittent thing. So these all things you will be doing. And then the next stage is, let's say if it is a valid issue, then what you need to do is you need to try to reproduce in your test environment. Okay. It Now there are two things. Maybe you missed to test it earlier, or it's a new test scenario that you need to add. So if you miss to test earlier, then you can get that test scenario or test case added into your test case repository itself. Second thing is, if it's a new scenario, then you'll discuss it with your team and you'll try to figure out that whether it is altogether a new requirement or it is something that has been there, but somehow it is missed by the entire team. It's developer plus QA. So those kind of root cause analysis you need to do. Okay. So that is very important. Uh, Fine. Now, can you tell me which are the different testing techniques that you are aware about?
Value analysis.
Sorry?
Boundary value analysis.
Okay. Have you used that particular testing technique anytime?
Yes, sir.
So where did you use it?
So there are the high chances of error at the input value at the boundary. Uh, so if
Right.
we have, let's
But
take a
where did you use this boundary value analysis? For which task did you use it? How did you use it?
uh, let's take an example.
Hmm.
The valid age of is uh, 18 to 50.
Hmm.
So we can test with is there any error when uh, we can check with the value 17, uh, 18, 19, and 49, 50, 51. Is there any error at the boundary or not?
Hmm. Okay. But in which functionality did you use it? When did you use it in your testing?
Sir, when I am
You would have
using,
done some project, right? You would have tested some functionality. You have done some courses, right?
yes, sir.
So in that you would have done some real-time project, or any website you can take in which you have got some test cases with a range in which you need to test the range of the boundary inputs, maybe the positive side or the negative side, the middle of the range. So those kind of scenarios you'll be using this particular testing techniques, right? Boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, cyclomatic complexity. These are the different testing techniques that you will be using it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, what is the difference between regression testing and retesting?
Sir, regression testing is regression testing. We will test all the previous past test cases.
Hmm.
In retesting, we will test uh, only that bug that we have reported.
Hmm.
Regression, we will test all the previous past test cases. Regression testing takes more time, and retesting takes less time.
Hmm.
Uh, regression testing is performed after retesting.
Hmm. Okay. Which testing is more important, regression or retesting?
So both are important.
Hmm.
First, we perform retesting, then only we will perform regression.
Okay.
If that
What-
bug is not
Hmm.
fixed, there isn't any sense to perform regression testing.
Hmm. 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 So when will you perform regression testing?
When the bug is when the new functionality were added, or there is any changes in the functionality, in that case we will perform regression testing. So
So
we will
every day will
we,
you perform regression testing?
no, sir.
Then,
uh,
so when will you go for regression testing?
we will check the
Mhm.
we will check the is there any uh, is there any when new functionality added, is
Hmm.
there any impact on, is there created any impact on previous functionality or not,
Hmm.
existing functionality or not, is there created any issue or in existing functionality or not, we will check in the integration testing.
Okay. Okay. So can you open Amazon.com in your laptop? I'm giving you screen sharing rights. You need to click on share screen green color button, right? Click on this share screen button and open Amazon.com.
So can you visible my screen?
Yeah, WhatsApp is visible. Can you minimize this thing? Minimize WhatsApp. Just open Amazon.com. Okay. Yeah. So now, uh, okay, you need to yeah, convert it to English language.
So where we convert?
So there will be an option over there. Yeah, yeah, in this English. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you need to test the filters. Those are available here. So don't need to log in. No need to log in. Just go to Amazon. Yeah. You need to test the filters. Those are available. So you can see the various filters that you will get when you are trying to see. So see here towards the left, you have delivery day. One of the option is get it by tomorrow, get it in 2 days, pay on delivery, right? Scroll down. So all these checkboxes, options, right? Prime reading eligibility, English and Indian languages. So such kind of functionalities you have to test. So what would be your test scenarios? Are you getting the question?
So can you repeat?
Hello, Tarun?
So
Am I
can you
audible?
repeat?
Yeah. Are you getting the question?
No, sir. Can you repeat?
Okay. So what you need to test over here is the different options that are there, the checkbox options that are there at the left side, right? Eligible for pay on delivery, English and Indian languages, prime reading eligibility. So based on these options, you would be getting the various uh, suggestions, or I would say the options towards the right on this Amazon.com website,
Yes, sir.
right? So you need to
Yes.
test these all options. So can you tell me the test scenarios for the same?
Uh,
You can think.
we can everything. We can verify the uh, language functionality
So which are the scenarios that you will be doing the testing here?
when we click on the Hindi checkbox. Is the page is converted to Hindi language or not? Uh,
Can you tell me the test scenarios,
we can
Tarun?
check the we can verify the foreign language functionality when
Mm,
we click on Chinese language. It will be
mm,
uh, the page will be converted in Chinese language.
mm,
Uh, we can uh, check these languages in alphabetical order or not.
mm.
Uh, We can check uh, if we click when we can check if we click on the multiple checkboxes or not.
Okay.
Uh,
Then,
uh, as of now, I can recall only this.
okay. Can you tell me how much time would you take to perform this testing?
So it depends on the complex, complex,
Sorry,
complexity
your
of the.
voice is very low.
So it depends on the complexity of the functionality.
Hmm.
If there is mm, multiple functionality, multiple features,
Hmm. Then,
it takes more time.
right.
Yes.
It will take time. So, how much time would you take to test this functionality? Let's say your manager is coming and he's asking that how much time do you need to test this functionality? So, what will you say? Tell me.
No, sir, I'm not able to
Okay.
tell.
So, okay, now let's say if you want to do smoke testing, right? So, how many test scenarios and which all test scenarios will you include to do testing here?
Basically, smoke testing is
Hmm.
performed to check whether the functionality or build is testable or not.
Correct.
Uh, Whenever the functionality we get, we first perform the smoke testing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Then, so see, smoke testing is a high level testing, right?
yes, sir.
In smoke testing, you don't need to check all the options. You can just, let's say, if you have totally 15 to 20 options here, you can identify two to three options of different categories and just test them. So that's how you'll do smoke testing. In detail level of testing, you'll check each and every option. Now, when someone is asking you which are how much time do you take to test this, right? So you need to calculate the time for designing the test cases, for doing the test case execution, and for doing the testing in various environments, right? That you'll be do in various browsers, you'll be doing it in various devices, you'll be doing it. For example, if it's Amazon, iOS device, sorry, Amazon is supporting Android as well as iOS devices, then you'll perform testing accordingly. If it is supporting Chrome, Opera, Safari, Firefox browser, so it will perform testing on those things as well. So that is your compatibility testing with respect to different browsers, with respect to different devices. So that's how you have to come up with the test scenarios. With respect to performance, you can simply check if there are multiple people accessing the website and you are trying to check one of the option, for example, English language for now. So are the options getting updated quickly or is it taking too long time in case of multiple users trying to access that particular website, right? So those kind of things you can do. Okay, now can you open Google Map? Hmm. Okay. Now, can you tell me test scenarios? How will you test this Google Map feature? Just tell me the test scenarios, high level test scenarios.
We check the search functionality uh, when we enter some invalid data. Suppose we enter at the rate hash and all. What is the
Hmm.
output? Uh, we test with mm, uh, restaurant functionality, hotel
Hmm.
functionality, uh, museum, uh, transit, pharmacies,
Hmm.
ATM, and we check the direction functionality.
Direction functionality. What is that?
When we enter the
Hmm.
source destination, uh, it shows the proper correct distance or not.
Hmm.
We test the minimize and maximize functionality, and we test with satellites, terrain, traffic, transit. Uh,
What you will test from the satellite perspective? So think on this, right? Tell me the scenarios. Which are the different scenarios that you'll be doing the testing? Take 2 minutes of yours and think on this. See, let me share my screen. See, first of all, from navigation perspective, you have to test, right? You'll turn on the navigation feature. You'll test navigation for walking, driving, cycling, public transport modes, right? You'll validate the calculation of routes, right? That is done. Map interaction. So zoom in, zoom out features are there. Those you can test. You can check the street view, it is proper or not. You can check shared location functionality is working fine or not. Maybe you want to share that location with one of your colleague or one of your friend. Offline maps, you can download the maps for offline use and then you can test it, right? You can test the functionalities like open now, nearby ratings. So all these things are updated properly or not based on the restaurants. These are all your functional test scenarios. From non-functional test scenario also, you can check the compatibility testing. Again, browsers and device-based testing. Then the locations and the zoom levels, how much time is it taking, the loading time, right? Usability perspective, you'll test. Localization perspective, date, time, you'll check whether those are coming properly in the local languages. Then from the security perspective, you will check, right? So these are all the different test scenarios that you can validate from the Google Map application perspective, right? Yeah. Okay, Tarun, I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
so can you give me feedback?
Yeah, sure.